Okay, let's unpack this. The status of India's IT industry right now, as of July 2025, is really defined by this massive high-pressure dual narrative. It really is. It's like watching a split screen.
On one hand, you've got these global headwinds creating cautious, almost risk-averse behavior from corporations.
And on the other, you have the state just pouring enormous resources into deep tech creation and digital infrastructure. It's why this deep dive is so crucial right now.
Right.
We're drawing on job market analyses, government reports, fresh cyber threat intel, all to try and tackle this complexity.
So our mission here is to see how these two forces, this corporate caution and the state-led acceleration, are really reshaping what it means to work in Indian tech.
And what it means to rely on it. It's where the money is moving.
And more importantly, it's where the talent needs to be.
Sure.
You've got these two, very different economies running side by side, and the job market is where that tension becomes really acute for the individual.
Yeah.
And that takes us directly into the jobs paradox of July 2025. You see this massive conflict between expectation and, well, reality.
Because the projections were huge, right?
They were. The overall IT sector was projected to create up to 4.5 lakh new jobs this year. We were all expecting hiring growth in the first half of 2025 to be, 7 to 10%?
But then the monthly data comes in, and the headline is just unavoidable. The overall hiring index was actually down 1% year over year in July.
And that's the number that's fueling those really chilling headlines about silent layoffs.
Yeah, a trend that could potentially put something like 50,000 tech jobs on the line.
But that decline, it isn't a simple recession. It's a structural realignment. It's driven by global economic pressure, sure, but also the rapid integration of AI.
So the traditional repeatable tasks are just being optimized away.
Exactly, which leads to this hiring caution for older skill sets.
But the caution doesn't mean hiring just stops. So where is the demand actually surging?
It's heavily concentrated. We saw hiring in AI and machine learning roles continuing this steep ascent. I think it was a 41% increase.
Wow, 41%.
So while the overall volume might be down, the intensity of the skill search is higher than ever.
That concentration creates a massive skill shift, and it seems, well, brutally hard on new graduates just entering the workforce, the freshers.
It reflects a deep risk aversion from employers right now. The data is stark. Only 15% of total IT hiring in 2025 is targeted at entry-level roles.
15%. That is historically low.
It is. Employers just aren't investing in those big training pipelines anymore.
So if you're a recent graduate, that number must feel like you're trying to win a very, very competitive lottery just to get your career started.
It's a profound challenge. And by contrast, you have mid-career professionals, we're talking 4 to 10 years of experience.
Right.
They command 65% of the market demand.
65. Because they want proven, immediate impact experience.
They're prioritizing proven reliability and immediate return on investment over, the potential of new talent. This forces everyone to rapidly upskill or specialize in those high-demand areas.
And this whole structural shift is being reinforced by the Global Capability Centers, the GCCs.
Absolutely. We used to think of them purely as centers for cost arbitrage.
Right.
That narrative has fundamentally changed. The focus has moved entirely to skills and scale. They need advanced, proven talent, and they need it now.
Which is why there's still a huge growth engine, even with corporate caution globally.
And mid-market GCCs are surging. Forecasts are expecting over 120 new ones to be set up by 2026.
And we saw that major international validation recently, didn't we?
We did. Look at the Japanese tech giant Rakuten. They committed $100 million back in May, specifically to expand their AI talent base inside their India GCC.
So they're not just optimizing, they're doing core advanced R&D right here in India.
They're tapping into that very specific, very specialized talent pool that dominates the market now.
So the corporate world is pulling back on generalists, demanding specialists, and relocating its R&D here. But where's all that specialized talent going? Here's where it gets really interesting.
This is that second larger narrative. India is accelerating its move from being a leader in digital adoption, just using tech to a force in deep tech creation.
Building it from the ground up.
Exactly. And it's driven heavily by enabling policy and some massive financial outlays.
Let's start with the immediate game changer, generative AI. It's gone from just a corporate experiment to a strategic national priority.
The C-suite certainly sees it that way. Our sources show 78% of Indian C-suite execs are either actively exploring or have already made concrete investments in Gen AI.
Because the productivity potential is just too high to ignore.
It is. And the numbers are staggering, especially in the services sector. We're talking expected productivity uplifts of 80% in call center management,
80%.
around 40% in sales, and about 38% in supply chain workflows.
Okay, wait, let's pause on that 80% uplift in call centers. I mean, that doesn't just sound like efficiency. To a lot of people, that sounds like massive job displacement.
That's a fair challenge. It's really a reallocation of human capital. The jobs shift from, say, transaction processing, answering rote questions, to prompt engineering, oversight, quality control.
Handling the complex escalations.
The type of work fundamentally changes. It just reinforces that earlier point. The demand is always shifting toward the specialist.
And this innovation wave is also focused on inclusivity. The government's Hashini project is central here.
It is. It's a national language technology mission, essentially, developing Indic large language models, LLMs, to leverage India's incredible linguistic diversity.
So Hashini is about making sure that whether you speak Hindi or Telugu or Bengali, you can interact with digital services seamlessly.
You got it. It's using AI for true population scale access. And we're already seeing real-world examples. NPCI's Hello, UPI for voice transactions, IRCTC's Ask Disha chatbot.
So AI is actively lowering the barrier to entry for the digital economy.
And beyond the software, we're seeing huge commitments in foundational hardware. You can't really build a digital sovereign nation without controlling the silicon.
The push in semiconductors and electronics manufacturing is enormous. That modified program for semiconductors, it has an outlay of, what, 76,000 crore?
A huge outlay. It's a statement of intent backed by very serious money.
And we're starting to see results materialize.
We are. Take Kaynes Technologies facility. They got approval in September 2024 for their OSAT facility in Gujarat.
And for listeners, OSAT is outsourced semiconductor assembly and test, the critical step after fabrication.
Right, where the chips are cut, packaged, and tested. This specific facility, with an investment over 3,000 crore, is projected to produce more than 6.33 million chips per day.
That is manufacturing scale. That shifts supply chain reliance.
It does. And while the government builds the infrastructure, the startup ecosystem is delivering groundbreaking IP.
Right. This is where the really unique ideas emerge. I want to hit 3 examples from the recent Emerge 50 list.
Let's do it.
First, health tech, a company called Peptris. It's an AI platform for drug discovery.
And this could fundamentally change human health timelines. They aim to cut preclinical discovery time from, 4 to 5 years and $600 million.
Down to what?
Down to under 24 months and less than $500,000.
That's an exponential change.
It is. Then you have climate tech. Urge Novak is tackling carbon emissions directly with a modular system. It uses bio-inspired catalysts to capture CO2 at over 90% efficiency.
For those hard-to-abate sectors. Huge.
Huge. And finally, next-gen security. Secure Machines is developing Prestara. It's a quantum-safe hardware security module with fully indigenous IP.
So building the digital locks of the future. Preparing for the quantum computing era when current encryption just breaks.
Instantly. It's specialized indigenous R&D at its absolute finest.
Okay, so with all of this valuable IP being created, we have to talk about the security landscape. The cyber threat update for 2025 shows a severely elevated risk environment.
Absolutely. The geopolitical stage is actively increasing the threat surface. We're seeing sophisticated threats targeting critical sectors, healthcare, hospitality, BFSI, government.
And conflicts like Russia, Ukraine, and Israel-Iran are just escalating the risks from hacktivist groups.
They are. The sheer volume is, well, shocking. Over 1 million ransomware attacks were detected in the year.
1 million.
But, and this is important, there is a positive sign in that number. The frequency of the attacks has actually decreased compared to last year.
So that suggests our collective cyber resilience is actually improving.
Measurably improving. Probably due to better patching, more awareness.
And where are these threats concentrating?
They cluster where the targets are. Bengaluru and Hyderabad, with their density of IT companies, account for nearly a quarter, 23.48% of all endpoint malware detections.
So if you work in the IT hub, you're working in the cyber target zone.
You are. And attackers aren't using simple phishing anymore. We're seeing extremely sophisticated cyber espionage campaigns.
Give us an example. What does that look like on the ground?
We saw a recent high-profile campaign targeting various Indian government entities.
Yeah.
The Air Force, maritime sectors.
And they were using malware called Poseidon and Discomoji. What are those?
They're built on the Golang programming language. Golang payloads are fast, efficient, and notoriously difficult for older security systems to spot.
Like high-performance digital spies.
A good way to put it.
Mm.
And they were leveraging Discord for command and control communication C2. That's the remote HQ attackers use to send instructions and steal data. It's incredibly stealthy.
That level of sophistication requires an advanced, coordinated national defense. What's CERT-IN been doing?
They've been hyper-vigilant. During 2024 alone, they issued 959 alerts, 72 advisories, 360 vulnerability notes.
Wow.
And more impressively, they ran 99 comprehensive cybersecurity exercises for over 1,200 organizations in critical sectors. It's mandatory readiness training.
Building muscle memory. And then there's the Cyber Swastika Kendra, the National Digital Cleanup Crew.
It's the National Malware Analysis Center. It covers about 94% of Indian internet users and works directly with organizations in energy, finance, healthcare to detect and mitigate malware. It's a pivotal part of the defense strategy.
So this national commitment to tech isn't just about defense or startups. It's about massive scale digital governance. It's easy to lose sight of how enormous the base layer of this transformation really is.
It is. And that infrastructure is underpinned by ongoing investment. The extension of the Digital India program has an outlay of nearly 15,000 crore through 2025-26. This isn't just maintenance, it's supporting exponential growth.
And the scale metrics they're just hard to visualize. Total recorded e-transactions now exceed 103,000 crore.
But the real wow number for me is the daily volume. 93.33 crore transactions.
Wow.
Daily.
Daily.
That surpasses the transaction rates of many major global economies combined. It's the digital plumbing of a nation operating at hyperscale.
And look at the platforms. DigiLocker now has over 327 million users and almost 8 billion issued documents.
Which is eliminating mountains of paperwork. And then Umang has consolidated over 2,000 government services onto a single mobile app for over 73 million users.
I think the most profound impact, though, is in social welfare, the One Nation, One Ration Card scheme.
It's the pinnacle of this digital governance. It's enabled food portability in all 36 states and UTs, covering nearly 100% of beneficiaries. That's 80 crore people.
80 crore people whose access to subsidized food is no longer tied to where they physically live.
That is using technology to solve fundamental food security and equity challenges at a continental scale.
And to ensure self-reliance at that scale, there's a huge push for indigenous R&D in hardware and security.
Absolutely. CDAX has designed the Rudra I server for hyperscale data centers and the Rudra 2 server based on Intel's latest processors.
So India isn't just buying hardware. It's designing and building the most critical components of its own digital infrastructure.
And bringing it full circle back to security, they're looking far into the future with post-quantum protection. MAIDI has initiated projects to develop post-quantum secure crypto.
And we saw the Ganjay cryptographic suite, an indigenous solution being integrated with the Indian Army.
Exactly, for their most sensitive communications.
Okay, so if we synthesize these two massive forces, what's the summary for July 2025?
I think the Indian IT ecosystem is defined by this necessary market correction, which is shifting demand dramatically toward highly skilled AI and deep tech talent on one side.
And on the other, a massive government-backed engine driving innovation in semiconductors, quantum, and this population-scale digital public infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So the key takeaway for you, the learner or the professional trying to navigate all this, is crystal clear. The critical shift isn't just about what tech is hot.
No, it's the structural change in job demand. The preference for mid-career reliability at 65% dominance over entry-level potential at a paltry 15%. It means the entry barrier is much, much higher.
So you have to rapidly upskill, specialize, and demonstrate that proven reliability just to pass the qualifying round.
That's it.
And as this deep tech focus accelerates and AI gets embedded everywhere, the regulatory framework has to catch up. We're seeing the draft digital personal data protection rules, the grievance appellate committees for social media.
It's a clear path toward greater regulatory oversight.
Yeah.
And that focus on liability raises a really important question you need to mull over.
Which is?
As AI increasingly governs everything, who will be held financially or legally responsible when an AI system makes a mistake? We're already seeing legal precedent for companies being responsible for their chatbots.
But when that error affects a critical supply chain or a public welfare payment, Who exactly takes the blame for the faulty algorithm? That is the ultimate legal and ethical deep dive that's still to come.